Welcome all of you after the break. Now we are going to discuss about the most important challenges of special needs field, and that is lack of professionals and practitioners working for the special needs in India. And to present that, we have today on screen with us Dr. Satish Maslekar. Dr. Satish Maslekar is Masters of Occupational Therapy from Government Medical College of and Hospital from Nagpur University. He has completed PhD in Occupational Therapy 2019 from MBGU Jaipur, former honorary secretary of All India Occupational Therapy Association, former honorary secretary and treasurer of Maharashtra OT and PT Association, worked as a chairperson, judge of EOTA annual national conferences across India. Currently, he is consultant occupational therapist working for disabled people. From last 16 years, senior occupational therapist and coordinator of UDID certification, that is very important, Government Medical College and Hospital Aurangabad. I hand over to the Maslekar sir, and I hope you will guide our audience like always you do to us. Thank you, sir. We can start.
Okay. So very good afternoon to you, everyone. So today my topic is lack of professionals and practitioners for special needs in India. So first of all, I would like to thank the total team of SNEAK Rehabilitation Center and also CRC and Dr. Sushant Shinde and Dr. Sumit Shinde. So we will start with introduction. Actually, this is you can see on this screen also. This is a very important topic for special and differently able people in India. In India, different types of professionals and practitioners are involved in the rehabilitation of the specially able children. Presently, there are many laws of specially able people in India. And our government is used to update and also make new laws which are friendly to specially able people. I am using these specially able people because from last 3 years, our government has changed the name from disabled to specially able people. On next slide, there is also a reservation quota in education and government jobs also. And to get benefit of this special reservation, disabled person should have minimum 40% of permanent disability. You can see this important word permanent. Temporary disability is not going to benefit anyone. If you have a disability of 60%, but it is temporary, then you will not entitled to get any government benefit. Even Union government had started number of beneficiary schemes for disabled people like ration shop, allotment of petrol pump or gas agency also. There are number of schemes for specially disabled people, but again the same clause is there you should have disability more than 40, and for some schemes government demands disability 60% to 80%. Recently in 2018, Union government had passed a RPW Act for certification of disabled people. In this act, government had included the 21 types of disability. Previously, I am working from 2004 in government institution, and I was a certified. Also, I was a disability calculator also as a consultant OT, and I am a full-time worker, full-time occupational therapist in JMC. So before this 2018, there are only 4 to 5 categories where government used to issue the disability certification. But now they have included 21 types of disability. And this act is very important and very much beneficial, especially to hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, acid attack victim persons, autism, and Parkinson's persons. As I told before also, before 2018, these diseases were not included in the disability certification. Now, any hemophilia patient, sickle cell anemia patient, acid attack victims, and other, I'm going to read all the 21 types of disability also. So they were now entitled to get the disability certification, and they are also entitled for the government beneficiary schemes. You might be knowing that this GR was also uploaded on the Google also, but still I'm going to read some important disabilities. The first is blindness, low vision, leprosy cured patients, Initially in leprosy patients, we used to give certification for deformity only. Means if the patient is having or the person is having leprosy and he has developed some deformity, then and then only that patient is entitled to get this benefit of certification. Now hearing impairment also, locomotor disability. Locomotor disability is a major area which covers all the deformities of hand, leg, and everything. Then dwarfism, this is now included as a special disability. Previously, dwarfism was under locomotor disability, but now they have included a special title for this dwarfism, and it depends upon the height of the person. Then intellectual disability, mental illness, autism spectrum disorder. Again, this important disability category is included by the central government. Previously, autism persons were not entitled for the certification, but now by this UDID certification, autism child also get the UDID certification. He will also get the benefits of the government. Then cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy. In muscular dystrophy, we used to give temporary certification for 3 years or 5 years because muscular dystrophy is continuously increasing disorder. Means there are a lot of deformities or disabilities, they are going to increase year by year. So we cannot give the permanent certification, but that can be considered as a permanent certification. Or sometimes when the deformity is more, then we issue permanent certification, but we can review that before 2 to 3 years if the disability is increased. Then chronic neurological conditions, specific learning disabilities. This again important disability type which is included by the government of India. In multiple sclerosis, speech and language disability, as I told earlier that thalassemia, hemophilia, sickle cell, these are blood disorders which are first time included in this certification. In multiple disabilities including deaf blindness, acid attack victim, and Parkinson's disease. We will move on next. Union government had taken a very fruitful decision for disabled people and have also changed the name of disabled to specially abled from Apang to Divyang. As per census 2011, we have 1.70 crore disabled people in India. And in that, as per that census, if we will consider a 10% rise, which is a minimum rise per year, then now we have around 3.5 crore disabled people in India. And if we see the current scenario of the professionals and practitioners working in special needs in India, we have very less number of professionals and practitioners. Now, I have collected this data. This table shows the number of existing professionals and practitioners in India who are working in the special needs of the child. This first is occupational therapist. We have only 6,500 occupational therapists. Special educator or teacher 1 to 1.5 lakh. Social worker 6,000. Developmental psychologist 7,000. Special counselor 3,500. Applied behavior analyst. We can also use short term for this ABA are 100. Speech language pathologist 5,000. Sign language interpreter 250 only. These are very important in especially blind people. I'm moving to next slide. Following the important professionals and practitioners working in special needs, I'm going to explore this, how I am, from where I have taken this data. For occupational therapist data, I have taken it from IOTA, which is a national organization of All India Occupational Therapist Association. Special educator or teacher data available on Google as per March 2017. Social worker data taken from India Network of Professional and Social Association of Social Workers. Developmental psychologist as per National Crime Record Bureau 2015. Then social counselor, as per report from Indian Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Applied behavior analyst, data taken from Google. Speech language pathologist, as per Indian Speech and Hearing Association. Then sign language interpreter, data taken it from Google as on January 2017. Now, the treatment of special children is not a single specialist work. It's a teamwork by which we can achieve maximum improvement. But if we have seen the number of senior professionals, as I already explained in last table, we can't give justice to each and every patient or every child. There are very less number of professionals as per as the disability percentage or disability population in India. For that, I have also collected how many institutions are present in India who are offering this bachelor or diploma degree for these categories. I think diploma is not available as per my knowledge, but some private colleges, they are issuing diploma for some degrees. For occupational therapy, there are 20 colleges in India, only 20 colleges. And no diploma is available for occupational therapy. Special educator, 49 colleges available in India. Then social worker, the large number of colleges available for this category is 744. Then developmental psychologist, only one college is there. Social counselor, 744 again. Applied behavior analyst, there is no college or institution who offers this degree or diploma for this specialist. Then speech and language pathologist, 36 colleges are there present in India. And sign language interpreter, I was unable to connect the data because I have tried very much, but I didn't get any data about this sign language interpreter. I think as per my knowledge, there is no institution for this specialist. Maybe they have, which is existing in India, they have taken some online or they have maybe taken a degree or diploma from outside the India. Now moving to again next slide. In metro cities, we can see there are a number of professionals are available. Metro cities means Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta, Bangalore, Chennai. People can easily find the professionals, but in rural areas, because of lack of professional, disabled person is unable to find a professional or practitioner who is specially working in this special child treatment. Most important thing is in this rehabilitation of patient is that they need a regular therapy and continuous follow-up, which is not possible for everyone, especially in patients from rural areas, because of less number or sometimes absence of expert professionals or practitioners, which is very important. Means as per the Indian law or the constitution, there is a right of each and every person to get the treatment for disability. But as we see in this scenario of the colleges and scenario of the present specialist in India, so we cannot give justice to each and every patient who is at uttermostly need of the treatment. And because of that, we can prevent many deformities, or we can able that person to child to walk independently. There are some other reasons also which I have noted for the lack of professionals. The professionals are traveling to abroad because of better scope in other countries. Also, they are receiving very nice salary packages comparable to India. So I think this fact is from last 30 to 35 years. When I was studying my graduation in 1993-94 in GMC Nagpur, that time there was huge scope for this occupational therapy specialist for US. And that time we have only 20 strength per batch. So I have noted that time more than 50% people used to go to US because they are getting a very attractive packages. And in India, there was that time zero budget. Zero budget means there were no government vacancies going to opening in next, don't know, so many years. So next important point is most important is lifestyle, which is very much lavish in Western countries. This attracts our young therapists. This is the fact. Again, professionals are unable to continue their practice because of personal reason and family commitment. In professional, in this type of category of the professionals, ladies means are more involved because they are more committed to means they're more first committed to their family, and they try for their career. And second is lack of awareness about the allied healthcare system and professionals, leading to the less students opting for it. Many other families means they don't know what is allied health, what are these professions, what they do in society, in our Indian society. What we know: doctor, MBBS doctor, dental doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, or Unani or electropathy. Many pathies are, but no one knows these allied health professions, which professions are come in this category, why these persons are these specialists or professions are important for our society, unless and until they should have one disabled person or disabled child in their family or in their relatives also. So this is a very bad scenario of our country. Next slide is other reasons for lack of professionals. Again, rise of unethical practitioners, creating unnecessary burden of questions for ethical practitioners. In short, rise in number of quacks in the field. This may also leads to the wrong treatment approach. Wrong treatment approach gives the wrong treatment, and wrong treatment reflects in our child. If their treatment is not proper, then their improvement is also not there. That is again a very important negative factor in our country. But I think in future this will prevent quacks, because recently, I think in April, allied healthcare bill is passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also. So now there is a governing central body which came in existence in last month, March 2021. Now this council will regulate these all practitioners. They have covered all the areas of rehabilitation. And second point is sensitizing parents about the high number of female professionals working with the special children who somehow do not continue their practice most of the times because of their personal reasons and family commitment, as I already told in previous slide also. So this happens from, I think, last so many years. Usually female used to choose this profession. That's why they are, these females actually are they're a very good therapist. Very good therapist. As per my knowledge, I have seen many sincere ladies are working for this noble profession. And they're very sincere than men. But because of their family commitment, they are unable to continue their therapy. This is again a very big drawback for our professionals. Again, I want to highlight few occupational hazards involved in the process of rehabilitation of the special needs children. Following that vigorous schedule from morning to night, that might create a few occupational concerns for therapists themselves. These hazards are mainly common in the metro cities, where there is a long traveling distance, huge traffic, and this takes a very much exhaustus for the therapist who are working in this area. Too much traveling, too much traffic jam, and again they have to work at that workstation for so many, I think minimum 8 hours they used to work. So this is a very hazardous for their life. And they have to maintain everything. Next slide also. I have some suggestion for our central government and every state government is to match the number of professionals. Our government should start new institutions in urban as well as in rural areas. Also, government extend the capacity of students in existing institutions. Means like that if any institution is having 50 capacity, they should increase it to 80, 100. So more number of professionals will come out in the future. Again, private medical trust or deemed universities should also take initiative in opening the institutions to increase the number of these skilled professionals. Government also should open vacancies on district level, sub-district level, and primary healthcare centers. So by opening these vacancies for the specialists or these professionals at the rural areas, this will help the rural disabled child get the treatment at his place, which nowadays very difficult. They have to come from that small town to middle town to district. Many therapists are not available at even Tahsil level also. Only district level. Now we can see if I am living in Aurangabad. When I was appointed in government, only 3 therapists are working. In civil hospital, there was not a single post. And in Tahsil level, that time, not a single post was working. So all crowd near the Aurangabad used to come to Aurangabad, and they initially they approach means rural people. They usually approach the government institution where there is a lack of therapists, lack of treatment modalities. So I think that's why I say government should open the vacancies on each and every level. Finally, by this way of presentation, it's my uttermost request to Government of India and every state government that they should implement suggestions which I suggested in my presentation for betterment of our specially able children or persons. And by this way, you can lessen the disability rate in our country, which is very important for growth of our country. And last, I would like to thank you all, and thank you SNEAK team, and thank you Dr. Soumi, Dr. Sumit Shinde, and Sushant, and Harshali ma'am. So I think if there are any questions, you are most welcome.
I request all the parents, if you have any parents and attendees, professions, if you have any question related to this topic, please write in the chat box. We can see hand raised by Geeta ji. So please ask your question in chat box, so we can answer.
I think she's our one of the speaker. I'll allow her to talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Geeta ma'am, you can. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Doctor, it was a wonderful talk. And we moved from Delhi to Pondicherry 5 years ago.
Okay.
To create a safe and place for my son Vinayak.
Okay.
Who has a rare neurological syndrome.
Okay.
And what we did was where we were staying was surrounded by villages. Okay. And once in a while, we got our occupational therapist from Delhi to come to Pondicherry, work with him for 2 weeks. And then we had these college-going students who were doing their science graduation programs. So they became Vinayak's friends. And slowly they got trained by this occupational therapist on simple activities to improve gross and fine motor skills, and generally communication skills and social skills. Okay. So that is how we coped in a small village-like setup in Pondicherry. So I would suggest that for parents who live in rural areas, maybe from the cities, if somebody can go and visit them once a month for about 2-3 days and guide them on what are the activities they should do, and keep monitoring them. It would be very, very helpful. We found it very helpful because Vinayak was getting the therapies continuously every day. And when the occupational therapist visited him 6 months later, he found a lot of improvement in. So I just thought I will share this experience with you.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Ma'am, sir, there is a question in that box that do autistic children get railway travel concession?
Are there drives undertaken to create awareness? No. Do autistic children get railway travel concession? Yes. Aarti Nadkarni. Yes, ma'am. For that, first you have to take this UDID certification. Where are you living, ma'am, actually? Can you answer me? I think Sushant,
Yes.
those who are asking, I think they should join this talk. So that will save our time also.
Okay, fine. I'll add Aarti,
No,
ma'am.
Aarti, I have allowed her to unmute. Aarti Nadkarni, ma'am, you can unmute and talk.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Yeah. So, I live in Ponda, Goa.
Okay. You are living in living at Goa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I live in Goa, and somebody had told me some years ago, and at that time I would travel to Mumbai often. So I was wanting to know whether if I have to travel, maybe.
Yes. Your question is genuine, and autistic children can get this UDID certification. After that certification only, that particular department is allowed to issue railway concession certificate also. As I'm working in this orthopedic department, we used to issue UDID certification and railway concession certificate to the locomotor disability persons.
Okay.
So in that locomotor also we issued disability and railway concession to cerebral palsy child also, and mental retardation, intellectual disabilities, and autistic. These three disabilities are issued by our psychiatry department, where also I am a member of that committee. That patient's conditions, they send it to me for my opinion, and after that they are going to issue this UDID certification and railway concession also.
Okay.
So I think if you are living in Goa and if you have an Aadhaar card from Goa, you can directly go to Goa Government Medical College and you will get this certification.
Okay. So it depends on the level of disability, like mild, autistic.
Yeah, definitely. There is a calculation method also in which is mentioned in the UDID certification format. If mild, moderate, and severe, there are three categories. And there is some test also which are performed by the developmental psychologist or child psychologist as per the age of the patient.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
There is a question in chat box, sir. This is Meenakshi Savarkar from Nagpur. Information has been covered very well. Please mention about minimum age for ASD and LD for certification.
Okay. Minimum age is more than after 3 years we can issue the certification, and we can issue for that people to temporary certification for 3 years to 5 years up to age of the 18. We cannot give permanent certification in this ASD and LD. Is it clear, Meenakshi?
So there is another question. Hello, sir. There is another question in the question answer box, chat box. Where is the best place to get information about careers in OT?
There's actually we have our website, All India Occupational Therapy Association, aiota.org. You can visit that website, and if you are unable to find that, then you can ask directly email to secretary or president.
Okay. There is another question. Hello, sir. This is Meenakshi Savarkar from Nagpur. I think this question has been taken already.
Yeah, I think Meenakshi, we should allow Meenakshi. Meenakshi is an occupational therapist. She's working at GMC Nagpur.
Okay.
I know her personally.
Okay, I have unmuted her.
Hello.
Yes, Meenakshi.
Hello, sir. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Sir, I'm good. I just asked this question because there are many parents over here, so that they should know at least minimum age criteria to get the certification done. Because I'm also working over here in this UDID panel, no? So
Yeah,
many a
yeah.
times parents comes to us like, what is the age group? What is the minimum age
Minimum,
criteria?
yeah,
Is my
minimum,
son or my daughter able or not able to get this certification?
yes. Meenakshi, the minimum age is
Like,
3 years.
so that's
Three.
why.
Hello, Meenakshi,
I
you are
believe
not
Yes,
we
sir.
lost
audible.
her.
So am I audible now?
No, yeah. So I will answer for your questions. His minimum age is 3 years. Okay, and you can issue it for
Yes,
on
yes,
a temporary basis from 2 years to 5 years. Up to 18 years, we have to issue the temporary certification for them.
yes,
After 18 years, we can give
yes,
them
yes.
permanent certification.
Yes. Many parents came to me came with this question. That's why I asked this question
Yeah,
in
no,
this group,
it's
so that
okay. No.
if parents at all over here are listening, so they'll enlighten
Actually,
upon this.
minimum 3 years
Thank
is
you
for
so much,
that.
sir.
Yeah, minimum 3 years. Why they are given? Because they should take at least treatment for autism or learning disabilities, whatever that deformity or disability is there. And if 3 years we are
Yes,
not
very
getting any
correct.
proper improvement, then we can issue them temporary certifications by which they will benefit some government schemes also.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Satish. Myself, Dr. Samil. I would just like to put a small question to you.
Okay.
You had a wonderful talk, sir. You described the current scenario really well. So there was this question in the chat box as well, which I would like to ask you on behalf of all the professions working out in this field of, you can say disability, you can say rehabilitation.
Yes.
You being a former vice president of AOTA,
Secretary.
definitely, former secretary of AOTA.
Secretary.
Yes, sir. Definitely, AOTA and all the organizations are taking various efforts and various steps to increase the awareness among children, among students about these professions, which we called as allied healthcare professionals. So there was this question which says that how can the organizational level people work out on increasing the awareness wherein the 12th passing students can take up these courses like occupational therapy, like special education, like psychology and stuff like that. So what can be those steps which the organizing bodies or the association level bodies can take out so that we have a lot more awareness about these fields?
Yes, actually, I was also pointed out in my tenure. So that time we have appointed a team of specialists in our association, executives we have appointed, and they have gone to some classes. Nowadays, you can see the scenario that 11, 12th people, they are not regular colleges. All classes are going on, and we approached the many classes on the behalf of our association, and we requested them to teach about what is basic occupational therapy, what is the basic requirement to get admission in occupational therapy. That time we have also given advertisement to the all colleges also, especially I think Mumbai. I don't know that famous classes were going, and Dr. Vaidya madam and Farzandi madam has taken a lecture in that classes. I didn't remember the name of that class, and we have also advertised on our this website also. And through website, many number of queries at that time came to me because I was the first answerable person in association. So many queries came to mind, and I used to satisfy each and every mail. So as per your concern, we should also take awareness in many classes, colleges, or global platform. Even I have suggested that time we should put an ad on famous serials or famous this we should, but after that the working was not possible and I left Miss. Now I am not secretary from last 1.5 years. So maybe new bodies concerned about it, but because of corona pandemic, it's very difficult to work also. I will note your suggestion. I will convey to president also.
Definitely, sir, definitely. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Dr. Satish.
Thank
Sir, one more quick question that you might have in your tenure as a secretary for AOTA, organized many conferences and organized many events, many awareness drives, and many things for the society. So what is it exactly which, what does it take to organize such big level events and such big level awareness drives? What is the crux of it? Definitely the mindset is the most important thing to organize these kind of events. But what are the other things, or what are the other qualities, I would like to say, that a person should perceive, or what are the qualities an organization should have to work over the awareness about these professionals?
Actually, we as a part of association, we used to conduct every year annual conference of this occupational therapy. And for organization, you can also organize a conference, but organization skills are very important, and the most important and not negligible effect is sponsors, which is a very important thing. And for such professions, means for our professionals, sponsors are very less. Even means you can see in pathology also, pathology conference, microbiology conference, biochemistry conference, they are also finding very difficult to organize a conference. Means many conferences are done with the registration fees only. So this important thing is the sponsors, as per my knowledge. Means when I organized national conference in 2006 at Aurangabad, that time means I was very much under very much tension because of funds. But somehow my friends from Delhi, Chennai, they have helped me, and I got a good sponsors also, and I was in profit, and association was in also profit.
Congratulations. Yes, definitely, to make the event very big, sponsorship is something which we need to look at.
Actually, Swamil, you need a teamwork. It's not a single person job. You need a strong team of expert from every field, from sponsors field, organizational fields, catering committee. There are a lot of committees when you are organizing a national conference and you have more than 800 and 900 professionals are coming, and many virtual participants are attending. So I think we have in last GB also we have planned to organize a mixed conference. Like those who want to attend personally, they can attend it, and those who want to attend virtually, they can attend virtually.
Yes.
So it will save their time and this money also. So might be there is less fees for virtual conference rather than this. So let's see.
Dr. Satish.
Yes.
Sumit here.
Yes, Sumit.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
And wonderful session. Although I could not attend the beginning of it, but yes, it is a very important aspect to understand the professional's point of view. The client and professionals, they should be understand each other. Then only we can deliver right sort of knowledge, right sort of everything what we can benefit the society. There is one biggest challenge is coming in pediatric field with respect to occupational therapy. What has happened in last 10 years, certain techniques or certain approaches, and now sensory integration therapy is a big approach. Like people learn 20 years and then also you need to learn a lot after that. Yes. Be it NDT, be it n number of things like approaches are there. A model of human occupation, we have frames of references. But these approaches nowadays, have taken up by the layman criterias, and then now sensory integration therapy approach has become a sensory activities, and those sensory activities are become a very layman technique for even any educator or any kind of a person. Some person takes it up and some does a very 1 hour, 2 hour lecture the day, and they start doing a sensory activities.
Even some play schools also.
Sorry?
In some play schools, I seen some
sensory activities. It's getting diluted. It's actually getting diluted. And see, when a parent gets diagnosed, when a child gets diagnosed with autism, parent doesn't know what is authenticity, what is the ethics, what are the different approaches, whom to approach and all. And now these quacks are actually very much available because they know how to present themselves. You being a professional, I being a professional, we have some professional ethics. We have to stay in a box, so we cannot go beyond a limit of these things. But something is happening. I mean, there is a lot of things are happening with respect to now. One more thing I've identified, that they have made this occupational therapy profession as a activities. They call it as OT activities.
And then one more thing, the OT activities is becoming what? Giving puzzle, okay? Doing jumping from boxes to boxes, okay? And then OT activities what? Giving some what do you say, gripper, you know? So this is something, this is, do you think that, I just want you to elaborate what OT is, what kind of, how elaborate it is a science. I mean, after 15 years of tremendous amount of putting into the pediatric field also, I still learn, I still read the sensory integration, I still read the OT, its frame of references, model of human occupation, sensory integration frame of reference, developmental approaches, neurodevelopmental approaches, so many things are there. So just want you to light on, we have time so we can discuss definitely. Is it so simple to do OT? I mean, it was, for me, it was very difficult 5 years, you know, so so this is becoming a very generalized approach. And actually what is happening, everybody, yeah, we are doing OT activities at home. If I ask them what you're doing, no, we are doing OT activities at home. We are doing sensory activities at home. So don't you think that this particular noble approaches are getting diluted? And actually because of that, the dilute like a vaccine, you take a vaccine, corona vaccine, you dilute it with 1 liter water, okay, and you give it to everyone. What will happen?
Yes, it is like that only. It is like that only. But I think the things will come soon good in for us also, because our Allied Health Council bill has passed.
Exactly.
And the governing body is coming. So
Yes.
nobody can sell these equipments also, and when our body will properly form, and we will this explain these are the OT equipment, these are the OT modalities, and without OT's permission you cannot sell in the name of OT.
Exactly.
Otherwise they have to face the legal action. So in Maharashtra we have council, but as far as the whole India is concerned, there is no central governing body. So it has come now within, I think because of Corona pandemic, this may be delayed sometime, but it will come, and in 1 to 2 years, maybe scenario may be changed. And this government has taken really a very, very, very good decision that from last, I think 35, 40 years, we are struggling for our central body. And I'm very happy to see that I was convener for council committee, as you know. From last 2016, I was working for the central government act also.
Yes.
As it will come soon. So let us hope for the best, because we cannot control each and every shop and every person that you cannot take this equipment unless and until there should be some law.
No, it's
Some
not
legal
about
bindings on them.
It's about the approach. Means overall approach is diluted. What you do, I do OT. I mean, OT is become just a, you know, joining two piece of puzzle. OT is just become a, you know, some kind of ideal. So the overall effect is getting diluted. There are, as I said, the professionals are very less in this field. If we say that the disability mark in all over India, if we take 2% also, then it's like 2.7 crore people are operating from disability, suffering from disability. We don't have that much of people. OT is a major occupation which is actually makes the person go back to the real life or get integrated into the society. I have seen that people give more attention to this jargons. People give more attention, get involved in those jargons. They lose important time of the child development, and maybe after 7 years or maybe 10 years. Yesterday I had one client, the child was 12 years old, and in last 8 months the child has shown a tremendous development, and the parent was saying कि हम लोग तो ये jargons में ही फंसे रहे थे, you know, हमें actually professional को किसके पास जाना है वो हमें पता ही नहीं था. In fact the child was having a very good intellectual ability. He was just a slow learner. He was just not even a slow learner, very average this thing. And that child spent a complete life in a last 12 years he spent in a special school. Let us say 6 years he spent in a special school. So I said remove him from special school, and actually if you make the child better, he can actually go to the vocational with a proper this thing, because the child has started developing psychosis and all. Coming to the point over here, you know, we need a regulatory body. Those people who give decisions, solutions without having a proper degree, without having a proper knowledge. It is happening on a groups also. It's last 1.5 years. I'm a part of some clients, directly in a client's group. I'm just seeing, and the discussion happens like without assessing, without evaluation, that solutions are being given, and then another parent doesn't know whether this is actually applicable to me or no. There is no authentic. We cannot stop it. I know we definitely can't stop it.
I
But-
knew it also. Here in Aurangabad, some parent is also running an autism treatment center. Initially, she contacted me, but I went saying my charges are this. So then she never contacted from last 4 to 5 years. Many parents are going to her. They are taking OT. They are saying that they are taking OT from a non-OT. But what can we do? I have many times complained to the council also, but no action was taken against her.
Yes.
Maybe
But that
when
is
council,
actually
maybe
aggravating-
yeah.
that is actually aggravating the disability in the important early intervention period. With the child could have gone to the normal stream, the child could have gone to the really these things, the diluted effect of the actual profession. It's absolutely getting it's not, the knowledge is not reaching to the end product, and that's the agony is happening right now. I mean, that's the problem is happening, and we are also responsible for that, because we don't have adequate professionals who can.
That is the fact. But I think now the scenario is quite good also. When I started my practice in when I came back in 1999, that time it was very difficult to meet the pediatrician and say I'm occupational therapist. That time pediatricians means wherever they practice in Aurangabad, they don't know what is occupational therapy. So I think we should take seminars or lectures in their pediatric conferences, as we are taking it from, I think, last 8 to 10 years also. Many pediatricians who are passed from KEM Nair, Sain, GMC Nagpur, where OT institution is there, they know what is OT. But like in Aurangabad, we don't have institutions. So many pediatricians or orthopedists don't know what is OT. Now my role is what is do disability calculation. He is coordinator of UDID. If any certification problem, go to Dr. Maslekar. But what he does, don't know. He give you certificate.
Exactly. Yes.
This is the fact.
So this is, yes, this is.
It will cover soon. Let's hope.
That's what I'm going to discuss this in the West versus India approach also, because Western culture is a very much different over there, a different kind of there is a process and structure is there. In India, we don't have a process and structure. Anyone can come and anyone can do anything, So it's something like we need to bring through the council. I mean, we hope. I mean, we have all. You are the hope for us, who can bring the right regulations in the society, so that highest quality will reach to the niche, and highest quality will reach to the appropriate to end-to-end quality can reach to one-on-one basis. Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sumit. I think do you conduct online training programs for teachers in special schools? It will be very useful, since there is no, Geeta ma'am, I don't conduct any online training program. I can understand your concern, but presently my schedule is very busy, so it's very difficult to conduct online programs, because I have my private setup also. I'm working in government institution, as well as I'm a national inspector for this ergonomic certification. I'm national co-convener of IOTA Ergonomic Certification Committee. From in month, I think I have to conduct 4 to 5 inspections. So, and these are online nowadays because of Corona pandemic. So it's difficult. But I can suggest anyone who can conduct this online training programs. Is sensory inbound? Okay. Thank you.
Another question in chat box is sensory related learning. I mean, if sensory issues increase, learning ability will decrease.
Yeah, it's sensory related to learning. Yeah, learning is related to sensory, and sensory is related to learning. Sensory issues may decrease the learning ability. It may not increase, because of if hyperesthesia is there. In learning process, writing is very important. When your child is going to hold the pen or pencil, and if you have a hyperesthesia or hyposthesia, so it is difficult, and it may delay your learning. So before,
continue.
So before, if your child is having the hypertension or hypotension, better you consult the OTs in your city and first solve that problem and then allow your child to for the school. Please suggest some good therapists for sensory issues related to your child. Ma'am, Amnit Kaur. Where do you live, ma'am? Amritsar. Okay.
So there is another question in the question.
Yeah, you can take my mobile number and you just SMS me. I will find some good OTs from Amritsar and let you know.
Okay. So
My mobile number is available on Google also. You can search it by my name.
okay. So there is one more question. How can we verify authenticity of OT practitioners? How can we know which degree is proper and which is not? A very specific question.
Yeah. So we have a central council just now. So we cannot get the data from council, but we have our All India Occupational Therapist Association from 1955. You just search his name, or you can contact person you can contact name of that person from our website. You can send an email that with that particular name, is it registered with our association or not? So you will get the detail of that authenticity of the therapist. And if you can ask, you just ask them what is your IOTA number, IOTA membership number. If that person is having IOTA number, then he is definitely passed it from the bachelor degree from recognized institution of IOTA.
So there is a question from mine. As you know that I'm working for one of the renowned organization of Maharashtra for children with special needs. So we also face many issues related to recruitment, and this is since many years. So what provision or what things will come in future from government also or from other things also? Like we will not be into the hassles of recruitment, because if there are 100 children, then there is less than one therapist. So how to solve this problem in future? And we are facing a lot because due to very few professionals available into the society. So we face this issue always.
So as per my knowledge, if 100 children are there and you have only one therapist, then you should start group therapy. That is minimally beneficial to them, but at least you can say that something is better than nothing.
Okay.
Now you can make a group of that this 100 child. If you have a 10 to 15 of CP, 15 to 20 of autism, or some 15 to 20 of developmental delay, then you can make that groups, and you can day-wise treatment. Monday to this group, Tuesday to this group. Like that only we can give something to them rather than nothing.
So I think, sir, we have around 1 hour we are talking on the topic, and now I'll summarize the few topics you discussed with us, like types of various disability we came to know today, like which kind of disabilities overall there are in India, and number of practitioners available to cater that, to treat people, and working in the special needs in India. Like you gave us a very nice data. Like it is very important for us also to to make studies for future. Like if we want to make available branches in various cities, so we can get more data from you. That is a wonderful thing we got today. And number of colleges available in India, we got to know. So we know like where are colleges available, so we can approach them and we can recruit maximum people and to cater the need of the society. And the reason of lack of professionals in India also we got to understand today from you. And very good suggestions you gave through this platform to the government also and to the officials also. Like on behalf of Summit panelists and the guests and all people, I also want to tell government and officials that they should look after these matters and they should work as soon as possible and help us to help us to go through it. So I think we'll stop session here, and the next session I would like to hand over to Dr. Saumil, and then he will introduce the coming speaker, and then he will introduce speaker, and then we can go ahead for the next session. Thank you so much, Maslekar sir, you being a mentor.
Sushan, there are many questions I think from Dipti Gandhi and Surjit Dev. I think please give my mobile number to them, so I will answer them personally, because you are ending this session, so I cannot answer them.
I request all the attendees, like if you want sir's number, you can ping us on the Summit's, team's number. We will definitely share Maslikar sir's number, and we are going to launch e-magazine after this summit. After 1 month, I think. So in that magazine also, we are going to provide all professionals' contact details, numbers, and wonderful things to the magazine. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.